gold down there, Diane. There's gold down there.
You're like their number one favorite guy. Because you won them cash. Well, this week on the PGA Tour, it's an entirely different format. The WGC Dell Technologies Match Play in Austin. And, well, it's match play. It does what it says on the tin. We're going to do our tour report and Elk and I are going to pick our bracket. But first of all, Elk, we have to look back at the Honda Classic and, well, being an Australian with Matt Jones getting that victory, I'm sure you were very happy.
I had some friends of mine, Diane, that were in Vegas asking me on Saturday who was going to win the tournament, and I picked Matt Jones, even though he was about 4 shots behind at the time. Andrew Wise, I think, was 4 or 5 ahead, and then here comes Jonesy. Yes, Diane, the golf course, we talked about it last week, is a very difficult course, a lot of wind, a lot of water. The only other course that's about the same as that one is the Australian Open, where Jonesy, mate, won the Australian Open at the Australian Golf Club, very similar golf course. And I listened to Matt's press conference after it was over, and he said that he was hitting the balls the best he's ever hit it in his life. And he felt like around about Friday, this was going to be his tournament, and he did it.
When the stars align, I mean, you know better than anyone, there's some weeks it just all comes together, and he got his second win on the PGA Tour. He opened with that stunning 61 on Thursday. In difficult conditions with the wind, and some guys really, really struggled Thursday and Friday. And you almost worry when you go out and in the first round, a guy shoots an incredibly low score like that he's just going to fall away over the next 3 days. But he stayed there. Okay, fine. He was up and down and there were other guys in the mix, but he was the one that was very kind of placid and calm over the course of Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I was just watching Jonesy, the way he sort of so easily played all the hard holes. We saw so many guys going in the water. NBC had a stat, 250, 260 on all these different stats, but Jonesy was never in the water at all. He has a very delightful balls flight, Diane. You see it on the tracer. Everybody wants to hit a nice draw. We see almost every really super tour player nowadays hit a fade. We did see Justin Thomas hit a draw up the last hole at TPC last week. But no, Matt Jones, you know, he's 40 years old. He's got 3 wonderful little daughters. He'd been away on a holiday last week and he came back fresh, and good for him. He's got himself set up now for the season, and what a week to win it on. Jack Nicklaus and Barbara, of course, host that event, and that's just going to be one that goes, you know, in the books as a great win.
I'm going to have a little rant here, because one thing that really irritated me is after he shot the 61 on Thursday, it was Paul Azinger in particular on the telecast talking about, you know, Matt Jones, a bit of a nobody. You might not know his name. He's an unknown on the PGA Tour. And I was like, wait a minute. It's their job to kind of present the information and educate everyone else. But he's not an unknown. And if you're really immersed in the PGA Tour week after week, I mean, we've had him on our radar. He's appeared as our sizzlers, as our dark horses for quite a long time, because his form and momentum was really building.
Yeah, and he has a real sort of unique very nice way about him, the way he walks, and seems pretty easygoing. But I think what everyone fell in love with about Matt Jones is how quick he plays, Diane, and I think there's something to be learned there. He steps up to the ball, he walks behind it, decides what he's going to do, walks straight in, has one good look at the target, and he is gone. And you know, like I said, he hits that nice little power draw. The other tournament he won, Diane, was right here, the Houston Open. I was standing on the 18th green. Jonesy had to get it up and down on 18 to maybe win the tournament, and one of the hardest pitch shots you've ever seen, and he holed it from 30 yards off the green to win the Houston Open. So, you know, we know him real well in Australia. He's won the Australian Open twice now, and on very difficult golf courses. And, you know, when I think back, I don't know why I didn't pick Jonesy. I mean, he plays the best golf of anyone in the wind.
We always make fun of you for that as well, that you're like, well, you know, who's good in the wind? The Australians. So looking back, you're right, surprised, especially his odds were so good at the start of the week. But as I said, he's been on our radar for such a long time. And well, that, you know, so much has been said about the young guys on the PGA Tour, like Morikawa, Hovland. We've got Wolf back in action this week. And they've all had such good success. But then with Westwood and his back-to-back runner-up finishes, you see Steve Stricker playing well, Stuart Sink played great, and then, of course, Matt Jones being 40 years old. Okay, he's not in the upper scale. But at the same time, you know, he's not one of these like 24-year-old guys that's tearing it up week after week.
No, that's right. And, you know, as you get a little bit older on the tour, you relish the opportunities you do get for a win. Some of these young guys that you just spoke of are going to get years and years of chances to win tournaments. But Diane, this week, before you made a note, I'm going to make a note. It is March Madness, and my Houston Cougars have made it to the Sweet 16 last night. So I am very excited about that. And we are going to talk about my bracket versus your bracket this week and this March Madness in Austin.
It's March Madness. Get in the game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app and play 4-ball. It's a classic stroke play competition based on the aggregate scores of 4 players. Who makes your team? Well, pick 4 guys, 1 from each tier based on the current world golf rankings. Want a tip? You need 4 guys to make the cut. Get in the game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app, available on iOS in the App Store.